Ustream live show. Tammy with you here today. Next week it will be our fabulous Lynn. I'm sure she's going to have an awesome project ready for you guys. And today it's time for me to get started with mine that I've got built for you. We're going to be doing this tag, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Okay, let me get this situated. Bear with me. I'm going to try not to make you guys sick. I knocked my stand a little while ago. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. I got a white sheet of paper here. And what we're going to start with is how I color my stamps. I am using the bird stamps from Jamie Darty's balloon set. And I think these are very, very pretty stamps. I've used just about every one of them in some way, some form, or fashion. I think they're gorgeous. I'm going to set that aside. Now, I have a ton of this white cardstock. I got it at Walmart. It's real cheap, and I can get a whole lot of it. So I'm going to show you kind of how to make this regular, and it's a 110 weight. Oh, I lost. Come on, there we go. It's a 110 pound weight cardstock, and I'm going to show you how to make it watercolor paper. I'm going to stamp this up. Get him all nice and stamped up. And there you have it. Well, his foot's messed up, but that's okay. He's going to get covered up anyways. And just cut it out. I get focused on my project and I won't be so nervous. Okay, you can save this for later because we're going to use it. Okay, so we got this nice image colored on our, stamped on our paper. Gotcha, Alda. Get that out of my way. All right. Don't know why I'm getting your text twice, but I am. Yay for the 20,000 likes on Facebook. How about that? That's awesome. You guys is what gets us there. Alright, now all I'm doing to this stamped image is covering it with just clear gesso. Nothing magical yet. And this helps protect the paper below from the water. So we're going to dry that right quick. I want it nice and dry. Okay. Now it's good and dry. We're going to start coloring. I use one of these watercolor brushes. It holds water. It's really great for just about any type of watercoloring project. Alright, now these, I'm using some Faber-Castell watercolor pencils. It came in one of our kits. Okay, that kit rocked because I love these watercolor pencils. These are some of the best watercolor pencils I've ever had, and trust me, I've got a few. So, let's start in with the coloring. Now, the process on how I color this bird, you don't have to color the whole the whole bird, all you need to do is go around the edges and you're not going to fill it in. You're just going to kind of go around the edges, the lines of the stamp. Only darker in some of the obvious places where it's going to need to be a deeper color, like toward the side. And I always like to leave like toward the middle with a white spot, kind of give like a highlight effect. Hey, Alter Joe. Oh, Mary. Got a crew here tonight. Wow, 26 viewers. Thank you guys for your support. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to color in this. And I'm going around the edge. It's not no great big deal right now. Actually, this part's kind of boring. But I'll move it as fast as I can. Around these edges on these feathers, I like to get those kind of dark. So I'm just going to color those in a bit. You're going to go around the bird completely. You're going to let your watercolor pen do the job for you. Just bringing in some color here. And you will be amazed on how much color actually fills into this little bird. It doesn't look like you've got a lot on here, but you actually do. Okay, so that's where I've got it. You can see there's not a lot of watercolor pencil on there. Now, you take one of these watercolor brushes, and they are magical. Now, you don't want to squeeze your brush. You let the water kind of like the gravity take effect. And you can see that it already has water toward the tip. And what I do, I bring the color in. From the outside in. I forgot a spot right here. Kind of like that faintness. And if you forget a spot, sometimes if it's not too big of a spot, which this one's a pretty big spot, but if you forget a spot, you'll have watercolor on your brush from the areas that you've already brushed. No, I've tried to get it closer, but I can't. I'll raise it up and show you where I'm at. This is low as this is where I can get my camera. I'm sorry, it's where it's mounted. I didn't realize I was going to do this fine of detail. But I'll raise it up and show you as I'm going. Sorry guys. My camera's like literally right there. And that's where my hub's mounted it, so he's got me this cool tripod made. I'll have him to work on that, but he's been working 12-hour shifts and I didn't have the heart to ask for him to fix that. So maybe I'll have a better way to do it next show, but I don't know if I can or not. We'll just have to wait and see, but I'm going to raise it up and show you about every little bit I can. You should see my progress, which right now it's not a whole lot to see. See where I'm bringing it in? See, my bedroom is actually my craft room. So he is in there. He is such a trooper. He is in there asleep in his chair, waiting to have the bedroom. So he's a rock star. My phone keeps going off. I'm sorry. Okay. And all I'm doing is just bringing this in. Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry that y'all can't see this as well as I would like. Okay, it's enough of the blue. This is what it looks like right now. Y'all see that okay? I know it's like on white cardstock. Okay. Now, for the next color, we're going to go with green, because on the actual tag, I brought in some green. So what I'm going to do with the green is where I've left it like really white right here, I'm going to bring in, and like some of the white areas, I'm going to bring in the green on the inside, use it kind of like my marker, like I did the lines for the blue on the actual stamp. So like the stamp lines was my guidelines for my blue color. My blue is going to be like for my green color. So I'm not going to like color it all in, because these colors are like really powerful and I don't need a whole lot. I want some green down here too. And all you do with the watercolor pencil is just blend it into your blue and bring it in. You're working inwards. And don't forget to leave a little bit of white area for where the highlight is, or where the light source is coming from. I want a little bit of color right there on his face. See where we're at right now. Bring in some of the green to the blue, and you can always deepen the color if you want it more bolder. Like I went back in some places on my bird on my tag and kind of deepened it some, but for the sake of this class, I'm just going to go with it as is, because I'm also going to use some big brush markers to help make it a little bit bolder too. I love them. Those are some of my favorite things to use. Just need to make sure with your watercolor pencils, serves kind of as the base of your project. So it's the color below, and then you're going to use the big brush markers to kind of deepen your colors too. So don't fret if you've got it really light. And how am I going to use the big brush markers on top of a watercolor project? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that too. Okay, here we're at with the green. Okay, and now the orange for the beak. Again, you don't have to go all and color it all in, going around the edges and using your water pencil or brush to make it spread. It also helps with lines as well. Okay, right there, there we go. That's pretty easy, huh? I'm Southern, I work slow, so bear with me. I'll kind of give that a minute to dry. I'm going to shoot it with my heat gun. Thank you, Diva. Okay, now, for the most awesome stuff in the world, those of you out there that's got like Tim Holtz distress inks, and you're like wanting to put stuff on it and you can't, this little stuff right here, it's called Judikin's Micro Glaze. It is awesome. It will help you give a base layer to your project, and it makes it waterproof. I mean, you can actually put this on paint brushes. There's a whole list of stuff you can use this on, but you don't need a lot. It's kind of like Carmex chapstick. You know how you just get a little bit on your fingers? That's all you're going to do with this. And then you're going to take it and you're going to go over it. And that will help lock in your watercolor, your distress inks, anything, even mists, that you don't want that color to move. You want to build on top of it. This locks that down. Now I'm going to show you how to go beyond that. And you don't need a thick coat. I just use like what you would rub on your lips, I mean chapstick wise. Kind of give that a minute to dry. You can see that it just kind of makes that a, you're right, who says that? Mary, that's correct. Ranger has a product too just like this, that locks that watercolor down and gives it a place to, well, it just locks it down, it seals it in. And then you can use, I like, Alda has this in a store, it's soft matte gel, and the reason why I like this versus like a regular gel medium is because this is easier to spread over this. Regular gel medium is a little thick, this is thinner and will spread easier, so this will set on top of your microglaze and give you another surface because this is waterproof, so when you put it on it, stuff's not going to stick to it very well. But you can use some gel medium, and the soft gel, again, what I like to use best is yeah, perfect. So I'm going to get a little bit on this, and again, you don't want to like glob it all on it. You just want to take it and use your paintbrush and smooth over a layer of it. It also helps your project, thicken up your project, makes it a little bit more durable too. So it's great. So I didn't really use a whole lot. This stuff will last forever. Just enough to go over the surface of my bird. And you want to leave plenty of white space around your bird, or whatever your image, so you can go over it. You can see it's kind of shiny. Little bit of the color, not nothing. And your work underneath the microglaze is not moving. Okay, so that's all I need that for. Oh, Mary, you need to use this, sister. If you like to use stamps, you like the Tim Holtz products, or watercolor pencils or whatever, oh, it's a blast to use. Okay. I use the matte. You can use a gloss, whatever you like. Okay, so as you see, as our image is dry now, and I'm going to go back over it to deepen my details with some big brush markers. These are the bomb.com. I love them. I'm going to darken up the orange, and you want to make sure this is really good and dry before you start using your your big brush markers, because you get it on the tip, oh, it's over with. You've lost your markers. And I take this and just deepen it, my areas. And use my finger, and I kind of like pounce on top of it some to spread the color a little bit. I use my fingers a lot, and Alda's really going to have fun tonight. You know, I should have dedicated this show to her. And see, I've got that deep. And I'm going to move on to another color. We're going to make this around this area darker. And I'm just pouncing over where I'm putting my marker and help blending it in, because I don't want like marker strokes, kind of bringing the color inward. And you can see as that color is starting to get really a lot richer. And it really doesn't take long to do. Seems like a lot of steps for a stamped image, but this is going to be like the highlight of your piece, so you really want it to look good. And really, it doesn't take long to get the colors in there. And you're going to go over a little bit with your smudging, but don't worry about it, you're cutting that off. So it's okay to be messy. Okay. I don't have a lot of time to be picky with, and I am picky. I can sit and play with this all night long. Just ask Jen and Alda how I work. They've been to camp with me at Maggie's before, and I am very picky. Okay. I'm just throwing on some of this, the green. I'm moving it in. And you can see that I'm leaving those white areas on purpose. A little overstated, but it's okay. Okay, so there we are. There's our image. These are awesome pins. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so to keep y'all from watching me cut this out, the next step would be obviously cutting it out. And I prepped a little bit earlier, and here is my little filler. He's a little bit bolder and a little bit brighter. I've went over him. And this is that one. So you can just cut it out and you're ready to move on. Set him to the side. Okay, I'm going to set him to the side. Now next is the fun part. This is the make Alda squeal part for conning me into going on Ustream. This little payback, Alda. Just a little bit, not a lot. You know I love you. So, a while, like one of the videos I made back in the day, I seen a Lemur Weber play with a jelly plate. Thought, oh my, I gotta make one of those. It looks really cool and fun to play with, so I'm gonna make one. Well, I found some really cool tutorials, and I made my own. I've done a video on it, and there's a lot of questions about it. I'm gonna answer a couple of them right now. Here's my jelly plate that I made. Yes, I made it. This is the same one that I used on that video. Answer the questions from the video. Yes, it is tacky. It's sticky. See, it's still sticky. But I use water to control the stickiness of it. Now, I got me a tag, which I just used a Primo one. Cut it out of a box of cereal. Hey, recycle, reuse, save the world. And then covered it with gesso. Now, to make my background for my tag, I use some acrylic paints. You can use any type of acrylic paints, don't matter what you use, just acrylic paints is what you use. So we're going to start with the first layer color that I used, and I'm going to get this really wet. It's really dry. I'm going to smooth it out. $8:28, so we're halfway through the show. Doing all right with time. Gonna smooth it out, and I'm gonna pop open my box of baby wipes. Now we're gonna put in some. I'm gonna use pink first. That's the deepest color it's on there. I'm just gonna get me a little bit of squeeze of it, just a couple of drops. And this is the fun part. You're just gonna use your fingers. Oh yes, Alda, I'm using my fingers. It's all over my jelly plate. Oh yes. See that? This is payback. Okay, now we're going to take my tag, and we're going to bring, you don't have to like put the tag like right over the top of that, or you're just wanting to pick up some of that color, but you can, doesn't matter what direction. And you can put in a little bit more color. Now, remember that extra piece of cardstock that I had? We're going to soak up some of this paint with it. Cut off a good sized chunk. I'm just going to pull up some of that paint. My grandmother always had a saying, and really didn't quite understand the total of it. She used to say, hasty waste makes more want for want. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that saying before, but so you just keep on using that color. Give me some more. You got it all used up. Spare cardstock is awesome, especially when you're working with a jelly plate. Let's see how cool that is. Okay. Done fruiting with this. We're going to clean this up right quick. Give it a little shot of water. And the video for making one of these here plates is on Flying Unicorn YouTube section. Now, my next color. We're going to go with some orange. You don't have to do it on a jelly plate. I'm just using a jelly plate. It's not necessary. You can use it on this, but it helps spread the color, and it's gushy, and I don't know. I just like using a jelly plate. There's no rhyme or reason. Let's give another quick smear. And we're going to add some orange into it. Another reason why I like this jelly plate is because it's kind of got some texture to it already from using it, and you don't want to like use a lot color there on that. It's hard for me to talk and think at the same time. It's the slow southern brain kicking in again. Sorry if I'm offending anybody else that's southern, but hey, it's me. Okay, clean that up. I'm trying to move as fast as I can. This is actually a fast process. Alright, let's get some yellow. Shot of yellow. One of the reasons why you want to use this kind of technique to this is that it helps the colors sit on top of one another. You can use this same technique on your craft mat and just lay it the colors, that way they're not mushing together, because you want them to stack. And you can even use colors that would normally make mud. And what I mean by that is like any color on your color wheel. Any color that's on your color wheel that already has, oh, how do I explain this and talk? It's hard for me to talk and think at the same time. I'm bringing in some yellow to it. Okay. The color wheel mainly is red, blue, and yellow. And any colors that you mix together that include all those, the primary colors of the color wheel, will make mud. You blend anything, for example, like yellow and blue make green, okay? But if you wanted to, if you added into that mix orange, which also has yellow and red in it, you'll have the three primary colors fused together, which makes mud. Hope I'm making sense. Maybe. And I can't see what you guys are saying. Oh God, I'm behind on this. Really behind. Okay. So, if I'm making any sense at all on those colors, what I like to use to help me think on colors and to do a color palette, I love design seeds. That's one of the places where I get a lot of inspiration for color choices, is design seeds. They're awesome. You can find them on Pinterest. Now I'm going to only use a sparing amount of red. I didn't put no. Huh. It's a lot deeper than I wanted to go. But that's where we're at right there. And if you wanted to soften up an area, you can stamp it on place. But that's one of the reasons for using a jelly plate. Helps you stack the colors on top of one another and helps reduce the chances of making mud with your colors. That way you kind of get free reign with playing with them. Look at all that. Awesome. And I haven't been soaking any of it up. I'm trying to move along. Sorry, I'm wasting. I shouldn't be wasting. Alright, I'm going to get this cleaned up. And I'm going to use just a smidgy piece of green. And with this. Okay. Throwing that back over there. This will work with absolutely any acrylic paint. Actually, and I'm going to say it wrong, the gouache, squash, gosh, whatever colors, works great on a jelly plate. All kinds of stuff works on a jelly plate. So the gouache paints, gosh, it says sound like squash. Somebody corrected me on YouTube about that, so I'm trying to remember that correction. So see, the green I'm using would be normally mud if I blended them together, but now it's sitting on top and not creating mud. Now this is very vibrant, so I got this really cool thing. I played with this when I was making this tag, and I used some white, but I used a tool. It's another thing. You can put stencils on top of this, all kinds of stuff to put on top of this. Now this is like really, really vibrant, okay? So we're going to add some white and bring that color down just a notch so it doesn't like poke your eyeballs out with color. So we're going to bring in some white on this. Bear with me as I get my white open. My hands are wet, so it's kind of tricky. Okay, give me just a little bit of white. Okay, now, handy dandy tool. Tools lie everywhere in a scrapper's hands. I'm going to go with this up and down. And I'm going to take my colors, as you can see, and this is going up and down, and I'm going to lay my tag like this and like press in to pull out that design, and it tones down those bright harsh colors quite a bit. And I'm getting the wispy look on there. It looks cool. I like the way it turned out. So I'm calming those colors down just a bit. So that's how it turned out. Now this is like really, really wet, and I'm going to use this to absorb up some of this white paint. That looks cool though. Okay, now we're going to clean this off right quick and put it away. Alda, did you have fun with that? Playing with paints and with your fingers. So much fun. Alright, got that out of the way. Now we're going to set this one. I luckily already have one put together. Well, I'm actually, wait, I'm not finished. I'm not finished with this one. Let me dry it just a bit. Because I did trying to save on time. We're at 8:41. It's not too bad. Make my background on another tag already. These don't take the paint long to dry on this. I'm gonna kind of set it aside for just a second. So with the excess pieces that you used, it's great to utilize those pieces and stamp out an image, which you can see on my tag. I have an image stamped out of one of the excess pieces to add some more flavor of the charm of the tag on top. Give you a little bit of dimension. Then you're just going to take these and you're going to cut those out. And I'm so fast, I've already got them cut out, so y'all didn't see a thing. Right here they are. Okay, those are all ready to go on my piece. And these stamps are like ancient stamps. I've had these since the dawn of time, of when I started scrapbooking. That's how old they are. Back in 2005-ish, 6-ish. I don't know. They're old. Really old. And I've never played with them before. I've had them, but I've got stamps running out my ears in my stash. And it's nice to revisit a stash because you will find new items. It's like going shopping. Okay, so we've got the tag made. We've got the background. Now, some other elements that's in my tag. We're going to give us some more details to it. I'm going to take, now these are some old stamps. I'm using a lot of old stamps on this. This actually come into, I think, in one of the first mixed media kits that Alda had. That's the thing with Alda's kits. They're like, they keep on giving. You can use these again and again and again and again. So I'm going to take some, a little bit of Delusions paints, and Alda's supposed to be bringing these back to the store. Yay, Alda. Okay, I'm going to bring in some of the dots. That's all these are, is just dots. Just bring it in around my tag. Bringing in some of the green from the bird. There we go. This tag's probably going to be a wee bit messier than my other one because I'm rushing. And when I rush, it gets really messy. You can see paint flying all over the place. Alright. Draw off my hands. I think I'm going to prune. I don't know. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to add blue. Now, remember the information I told you about the color wheel. If I was blending all these colors together, we would have mud. Because red's present, orange is present, the yellow is present, all of them were present, so they would be all mushed together, which would make mud. However, I want to use my finger again. Since we have layered them on top of one another and then dried them, we won't have mud. I'm going to take this stamp, which is also in that same stamp package. It's Studio Claudine Helmuth Creative Layers. Get my little birdhouse stamp. Get that inked up real good with the paint. Plenty of paint. And then we're going to just put that on there. Okay. There we go. Now, all the paint is on here, with the exception of a few. Go back with black and add in some black circles. Actually, the black circles came after my doodling. However, for the sake of time and show you how I did, bottle cap, awesome stamp. I'll take some more black, just squirt out a little bit on your finger, put it on your craft mat, and put it in it. And as you can see on my stamp, I've just kind of like stamped around in areas. Bring in some more texture, just randomly stamping around. Stamp off your place, off your tag. There we go. So, that's how I did the circles. You got stamps lying around, you didn't even realize it. Actually, I don't think that's anything new. Alright, so there's where we're at right here. Got that all done up, the circles and dots. And now would be the doodling phase. Now, for the sake of time, because we would be here forever, and when I'm saying forever, I mean forever, I kind of pre-doodled, because it's not on some things. I'll show you how I did some of them, but for the sake of time, oh, Alda, look, it's such a mess. Having fun. It's my little payback. Just love her to death. Having so much fun. Y'all having fun? I hope y'all are having fun. Alright. Kind of in my zone now, I guess. Maybe. Alright. Let me get some of this out of my way. Alright, so the last thing that I did I pre-cut these out too, was took this stamp and stamped it down here, kind of going off a little bit of my tag, and here's kind of like the pre-doodled section ready for my bird. My saying and everything. I am going to show you how I done this. All this is simply drawing lines with a Faber-Castell pencil. These are awesome. And I just went from one side of the tag to the next with the top line, and then kind of staggered and kind of give it a little movement down, and then took the pen and made circles randomly on the lines. These are awesome. Alda has them in the store. I would highly recommend picking you up some. Really fun to play with. So I take this and I've got just staggering different shapes of circles, attaching them to this line. Kind of reminds me of those beads that hang down, the beaded curtain. And then you go back with the Uniball. This is really awesome pen to doodle with as well. And don't worry about if you have lines through your circle, because this bad boy is really good and opaque, and it covers up those lines so well. This doesn't take but just a little bit to do. I'll do this last one. It'll take but just a second. And group clusters of them up. That's really cool too. And then little bitty ones to the side, kind of alternating, rotating, random as best as you can be. Okay, back with the Uniball for this last one. I actually took a class with Kate Crane, and one of the major things that I took from it is to doodle more on my work. I doodle all day long, but for somehow it's just like hard for me to doodle on my projects, I guess because they're going to be seen, and that's what that looks like. Alright, now, so we're ready to bring our bird back that we've got all cut out and nice. We're going to kind of arrange this down here like this. We've already got our little flowers cut out, and we're going to use some Petaloo blooms, and I even used a hole punch and punched out a thing for my tag to go over that circle. Kind of gives it another punch of color in a random place. And then we're going to add our title here, I mean not our title, but our saying here in just a second. So bear with me as I get everything kind of attached down right quick. I need my brushes are well used, very well used. And I'm looking for my gel medium. Get some regular gel medium for the gluing purposes. Trying to decide how I want that flower to go. Ready for the bird to go down. Okay. Give it a little bit of gel medium over the top. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm not going to add that yet, and that yet, and that yet. Just a second. Forgot to add a little bit of black. I'm going to use black as my edging. Sorry, I do clean up my messes. My desk, my mat is well worn. I might run just a smidge over. Bear with me. Okay, now we're going to add just a punch of black to kind of bring, if I can find my black, what I did with it. Well, I guess I ate it. There it is. Found it. Just a little bit of black. And we're going to take it, kind of go over it, around it. Kind of, instead of distress stains, kind of thinking this as the, don't be afraid to kind of go down into it. Just gives it a, I don't know, pulls all the pieces in together. Sharpens your card and helps bring focus to the wording, because that's where I'm going to put my wording. I used way too much of it, but that's okay. Just cleaned a whole bunch of that off of my hands, and now I've got it on my hands again. So it ought to look really pretty going to work tomorrow. Okay, almost there, guys, almost there. All right. That nice and dry. And for the sake of time, I'm going to just use a couple of different glues for the title part. I'm going to kind of get it arranged here. I've already got it pre-cut out and pre-edged, but it's just a block stamp, and you can do this with any of your block stamps that you got. Take it apart and cut it out and redesign the layout of it, and you don't have to be stuck with just the way it's presented to you when you buy it. And then I just took a Prima inker and just inked around the edges. and that black below it brings some attention to your wording. And get this little topper piece glued down. I didn't get enough of that. I must really have this clogged up. There we go. Comes. There's that. I like to kind of stagger these. It's just like Stickles. Well, not Stickles, but that Tim Holtz brand. It's just equivalency of it. And I'm kind of just slopping this down there now. There we go. Then my flowers are going to go right here. Good old Fabri-Tac. Okay. Last little details. Just get a little bit of white in here. Kind of bring your pencil. I always like to give the bird some sharper get a pencil. Now this is still really wet, but you can go around it with a pencil and create your shadowing around your words. Kind of running out of time, so we're just going to leave that at that. But that is more or less what that is. Last but not least, I love this trim. It's actually not trim. It's actually some yarn I found at Walmart, but it reminds me of feathers, and I thought it looked perfect with this tag. Almost finished. Bring that through. And voila. I added some gesso to the flowers, but to pop them a little bit more, but we are at 9:06 and I don't want to go over any more than we already are. We'd like to thank you here at Flying Unicorn for visiting us today, and also for helping us rock out 20,000 viewers. That's so, really awesome. We want to thank you so much for all your support and everything that you guys just being there for us. I know as designers, it means the world that we have a base of loyal supporters like you guys, and we just want to give you a great big hug and say thank you for that. Also, don't forget, Lynn is up next week, January the 27th, and all the items that we have listed, you can get a 10% off. Alda has those in the store. I just want to say a big heartfelt thank you for joining me for my first show. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and take care. Thanks.